groundbreaking announcement from WWE and a new partner now revealed. We're going to talk about it right here on the Ango Show, plus so much more. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TAS. I want to kick things off this morning with some AEW news, and more specifically, let's talk about Konosuke Takeshita, because it was revealed that he is set to compete in the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax, the tournament that I absolutely love. If you guys love pro wrestling and you don't watch the G1, I don't know why. Always going to get some great matches. Now, with that being said, this year, Konosuke Takeshita is set to be in the tournament. He is part of the Block B, which has several names that I absolutely love watching. But believe it or not, I think this is Konosuke Takeshita's year. And look, I know it sounds crazy. Maybe New Japan and AEW won't do this, but if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I think it would actually be a really good idea for Konosuke Takeshita to actually win the entire thing. Now, in his block, he has Goto, El Fantasmo, Yoda, Tsuji, Jeff Cobb, David Finley's also in there. Who else? Yuya, and there was one more, and I can't remember it. But nonetheless, really good block. It's going to be really fun. I love these Robin-style tournaments. Obviously, the G1 has been, I don't know, which one is this? The 34th, 35th, something like that. I mean, at this point, they kill it, right? The G1 Climax is great. Now, the thing about Konosuke Takeshita is he is one of my favorite talents in AEW. Also, probably one of my top 10 wrestlers in just the entire industry right now. I love this guy. I think he's great. With AEW working with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and obviously, you have Jon Moxley holding the World Championship for, he's holding the IWGP World Championship. So, obviously, I think there is some synergies that could work out really well long-term between AEW and New Japan. Having an AEW wrestler such as Konosuke Takeshita winning the G1 Climax probably won't be the most ideal thing, but I think if you are New Japan, if you are AEW, and you want to create some more excitement about your partnership, I think the way to do it is having an AEW star to do it. And obviously, by having Konosuke Takeshita being in the tournament, I think it's a good idea. But also having him win the tournament's a really big thing. Now, you got to remember that this tournament is pretty damn wide open. So they have Jake Lee from Pro Wrestling Noah. Konosuke Takeshita, I don't know. I don't want to say for sure he is still actively wrestling for DDT. I primarily consider him an AEW star at this point. But the point that I'm trying to make is this is a tournament that features Pro Wrestling Noah and AEW. To a certain extent, why not shock the world? Why not do something different? And look, we know we have Sonata in there. We have Zack Sabre Jr. We have Gabe Kidd, which is actually really crazy because I remember watching Gabe Kidd like in the UK scene for a long time. But like now this guy's actually like really, really talented, really, really good, potential top star type of stuff. I don't know how this is going to go down. I want to see something big. I love the idea of them working together. I think working relationships are great. I think it's even better when you shock the world. Maybe people don't anticipate Konosuke Takeshita winning because he is not from New Japan, but I think that makes it even a little bit better. Probably not a popular opinion, but nor do I care about having a popular opinion. It's just what I typically would like to see. Let's talk about the Wyatt Six. A lot of news surrounding the Wyatt Six, and something that's been really interesting to me surrounding the Wyatt Six is the direction that the WWE plans to go with. Fightful Select has reported that WWE thinks there's a real chance that this will work with modern day wrestling. There is some stuff that, there is some stuff that they have planned here where I'm kind of intrigued. One of the big things here is that the group was filming vignettes this past week. But in addition to that, you guys got to know that WWE doesn't have plans at making this particular faction a supernatural faction. It seems that this entire faction is supposed to be based on reality, which quite honestly makes a lot of sense when you look at the QR codes, because the QR codes have done a lot of teasing and a lot of things that, it's more about punishment and patience. And, there's like this whole thing about like massacre. Like it doesn't seem like they're doing a lot of supernatural stuff. Yes, the vignettes are spooky, but supernatural in the sense of like, being indestructible and the effects and all this stuff. I don't think we're going to get that. I don't think we're going to get anything too crazy here. Now, obviously, with the Y6, it's going to be very interesting to see how it all pans out because Bray Wyatt is no longer with us. And unfortunately, like, not having Bray Wyatt there, I do think it hurts because he is the man behind the creative vision of The Fiend and all of these characters and all of these things that he's put together. And I mean, if you guys know me, you know Bray Wyatt is literally hands down like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So I do find it to be a challenge for this group, but also at the same time too, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Fightful did note though that they're not really worried about like the in-ring work or anything like that. This is going to be, you know, from their sources, this appears to be more of a realistic group, more based on reality. I think that's the right direction. And who knows, man? Like, obviously, if they use the characters from the Firefly Funhouse, that adds a little bit of intrigue. I think the Y6 is going to be very important to the WWE. I think it's going to be a big hit for merchandise. I don't think Uncle Howdy needs to be a world champion. I don't think wins and losses matter here. I just think the storytelling aspect of it is the most important. Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, like whoever truly gets revealed here, which I think, you know, I've talked about it so many times. I think we all pretty much know who's part of this group. I think the most important part of that is making sure everybody just gets elevated within the group. I don't want this to be treated as like a retribution type of thing, but ultimately super excited about this. We'll see what happens on Raw when the reveal happens. I want to turn our attention to WWE and Pro Wrestling Noah's massive announcement, truly groundbreaking. We talked about it before that it was coming. We didn't know what it was going to be. Now we know what it's going to be, and holy shit, a little bit more unexpected, because I think when people think of Pro Wrestling Noah, they think of Shinsuke Nakamura, because obviously WWE sent him there with the Great Muta last year, but that is not the case. AJ Styles has been revealed as part of this working relationship, and man, this is super exciting, because what is going down, Marufuji is fighting AJ Styles on July 13th. Now, listen, and I've said this so many times on my channel, I do not watch Pro Wrestling Noah every single time. It's not possible for me to keep up with 100 different wrestling shows, and literally based on what I cover, trying to also balance the real world and life and all these different things, it's not possible. But I love watching Japanese pro wrestling. I've watched a lot of New Japan, a lot of Pro Wrestling Noah. I watch Stardom. I watch a lot of these events. And for me, I'm not talking about business for a second. I'm just talking about the concept here. WWE sending AJ Styles to Pro Wrestling Noah is huge. Now AJ Styles gets to go up against a very, very, very good wrestler. That's even bigger. The fact that this even is going down is absolutely cool. So cool. And it goes back to what I say about AEW and New Japan. When you see these working relationships, I want people to realize that sometimes the genuine shock of it happening when people don't think it's possible, I think that in itself is cool. I would have never guessed AJ Styles is going to go to Pro Wrestling Noah, especially on behalf of WWE. Now, obviously, AJ Styles going to Japan, people know who he is. Their audience will be familiar with AJ. My question now is, will people know who Marufuji is if he were to come to WWE in the Royal Rumble? I don't know. But it's good to see that WWE is promoting this on social media. I want WWE to go into the Royal Rumble next year. And by that point in time, I want to see Pro Wrestling Noah and TNA and Marigold. I want to see people involved in these Royal Rumbles. I want to see these surprise elements, because just the fact that it could be done is something that is really dope. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below.